Once upon a time, in front of a farmer's house, there was an extraordinarily peculiar pear tree. This tree was unique because it only bore 3 pears each year, and these pears had an odd appearance, looking ugly, but their taste was unbelievably delightful. The farmer had 3 children, and he often warned them not to pluck the pears carelessly. So, every year by the end of autumn, these 3 strange pears remained on the tree. One year, the beautiful princess of the kingdom fell seriously ill. Since the king had only one daughter whom he cherished dearly, he was deeply worried. Despite hiring the most renowned doctors in the kingdom, the princess's condition not only failed to improve but worsened. One day, the king heard about the only way to cure the princess's illness, a unique strange pear tree in the country. If the princess were to eat a pear from that tree, her illness would be immediately cured. Upon learning this, the king issued a proclamation. To cure the princess's illness, I hope someone can find that strange pear tree and deliver one of its pears to the palace. The person who cures the princess will be able to marry her. Upon seeing this notice, the farmer immediately gathered his 3 sons and said,
"You all saw the king's announcement. I believe our peculiar pear tree might be the one the king is looking for."
At that moment, the youngest son spoke up.
Dad, it must be our tree. If we can pluck a pear and bring it to the palace to cure the princess, we can marry her and inherit the throne. Isn't that amazing?
Silence! You should never speak so loudly. What if someone overhears us? That's why I said you're too honest, which is your only good quality.
Isn't honesty a good thing?
I didn't say it's not. It's just that in situations like this, it's best not to advertise it. What if someone hears us and steals the pear? You go sit quietly on the side. Don't speak. I need to discuss this with your 2 brothers. Eldest son, would you be willing to take the strange pear to the palace?
Of course, I'm up for it.
Good. If you're to inherit the kingdom, I believe you're qualified. Get ready, but I must emphasize, don't speak to anyone on the way. If the pear is stolen, it will be troublesome. If someone asks what's in the basket on your back, just make up something. If they inquire about your destination, don't reveal the truth. Never disclose the actual destination.
I understand.
So the eldest son placed the pear in a basket, packed his belongings, and set off. He reached halfway when a small dwarf suddenly appeared and asked,
"What's in the basket?"
Oh, the basket contains sausages.
"Is that so? Then let me turn it into sausages."
the dwarf said and disappeared. However, the young man paid no attention to the dwarf's words and continued on his way. Before long, he arrived at the king's palace. When the king heard that someone had brought the strange pear, he was thrilled and summoned the young man.
"Quickly, show me the strange pear."
Yes, please wait a moment.
The young man replied. He calmly opened the bag, but to his astonishment, he found that the pears that were originally inside had turned into sausages. The king, infuriated, said,
"I'm beside myself with worry, and you dare to make a mockery of me. I must punish you severely."
He then ordered his servants.
"Give this man a severe flogging and expel him from the palace."
When the farmer saw his eldest son return home pitifully, having failed in his mission, he said,
"I'm truly disappointed. I thought you could accomplish the task, but you failed."
Reluctantly, the farmer sent his second son to take on the challenge and advised,
"Hey, second son, remember, be careful not to repeat your brother's mistakes."
So, the second son wrapped the pear in paper and placed it in a basket, then hurried to the palace. While on his way, he encountered the same little dwarf as before, who asked,
"What's in your basket?"
"Oh, the basket contains fried shrimp."
"Is that so? Then let me turn it into fried shrimp."
the dwarf said, and disappeared. The young man, however, paid no attention to the dwarf's words and continued his journey. Before long, he reached the king's palace. When the king heard that someone had brought the strange pear, he said,
"Is this truly the peculiar pear I seek? If you've brought something else to deceive me, I won't forgive you."
With unwavering confidence, the second son assured.
"It's indeed the strange pear. You won't be disappointed this time."
So the second son gained an audience with the king. He opened the basket in front of the king and tore the paper wrapping from the pear. To everyone's surprise, the contents of the basket were not pears, but fried shrimp. The king, more furious than the last time, decided that the second son should suffer even more for his failure. In the end, he was also sent back home in pain. The farmer, disheartened, muttered to himself,
Sigh, the days of happiness seem so close, but it's all gone to waste because of you useless children.
At this moment, the youngest son said,
Dad, there's still one pear left on the tree. Let me try.
What? You want to go? Well, since it's the last pear and you want to attempt it, go ahead. But if you fail, in my opinion, the king won't allow your safe return.
So, the youngest son, just like his brothers, wrapped the pear in paper and placed it in a basket, then headed to the palace. On his way, he also encountered the little dwarf, who asked,
What's in your basket?
The youngest son, being honest, opened the basket and showed the dwarf the contents, saying,
It's a strange pear. I'm taking it to the palace to cure the princess. If the princess gets better, I can marry her and inherit the throne.
Oh, a strange pear. Then let me turn it into a strange pear.
Hey, what are you saying?
When the youngest son questioned the dwarf had already disappeared. Shortly afterward, the youngest son arrived at the palace. Despite the king's initial reluctance to see him, the youngest son said,
From childhood to now, I've never told a lie or deceived anyone. If I deceive the king today, the king can execute me. I have no complaints.
The youngest son's sincerity persuaded the king. He opened the basket and tore the paper wrapping from the pear. It was indeed the pear from home. The king, overjoyed, rushed to give the pear to the princess, who was emaciated and bedridden. Strangely, as the princess took a bite of the pear, an unexpected transformation occurred. Her pale, emaciated face became rosy, and she quickly regained her weight. Furthermore, her hands, which were once feeble, now had strength, and she appeared more beautiful than ever. At this moment, the king, his court, and the entire nation rejoiced. The happiest of all was the youngest son, who was about to marry the princess.